C, welcome to the stream. Hi. Today we are doing an eye tutorial. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Okay, so sorry. Okay. I had my stream on in the background and I suddenly heard myself talking and I was like, ah! Confusion. But it's okay. We're good. I gotta do the tag here. Someone's a minute late. Okay. Don't come at me. I was distracted looking for music for me to listen to while we're doing stuff. Okay? I'm so sorry. I'm a minute late. Wow. Anyway, hello, it's good to see you, Clara. Hello, Tisk Tisk. Don't you tisk me. Don't do that. I'm here to show you how I do eyes today. And I will say that I put a lot of thought into eyes for characters and stuff because the eyes of a character can tell you a lot about who they are as a person. I think it's a really important part of character design is their eyes, and just any little subtle details you can give a character can go a long way, I think. There's a lot of people talk about silhouette and stuff, and that is a major part of making your character distinct. But also the little details that you give them and little motifs that you keep consistent throughout their design can set them apart. Gotta keep an eye on you, it seems. Yeah. Thank you for using the word of the day. I appreciate it. I think I'm gonna start, like, doing vocabulary words and stuff just for the heck of it. I think it's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited for this one. I am too. So on the subject of eyes and eye shapes, being able to tell you a lot about the character, there are several different eye shapes that you can choose from. There are almond eyes, there are big round eyes. There's tons of them. Let me look. Eye shapes, because whenever I'm designing a character, I do look into their eye shape, and since I don't really have like a semi-realistic art style, I don't want to say but it's close to semi-realism. And so I like to base my eyes off of real eye shapes. It's just something I enjoy doing. You don't have to. Alright? You don't have to. But it's just something I enjoy doing. And it's something that I use to help me. Something I'm really worried about with my art is same face syndrome. Because I think faces help define. Faces are a big thing for people, you know? And so, like, it's how we recognize people, you know? So I want my characters to be easily recognizable even if they were, like, bald, you know? So I started looking into a lot of, like, eye shapes, nose types, all that good jazz. But for today, we are focusing on the eyes, and honestly, I'm mostly going to focus on how I render eyes, but I did want to tell you my thought process behind what eye shapes I choose and the such. I recognize people by voices. Voices too. Voices are a very distinct part of a character too. So the first I think I'm going to do with, let's see, different eye. No. I just want to look at the eye shapes. We're gonna do. Alright, so I'm gonna sketch out a few of the eye shapes off to the side here. So we've got deep set eyes. They're kind of a little more round right now. Here we go, deep set. And we're just gonna. Well, I was trying to lasso tool. I got face blindness thanks to Aphantasia. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, there's a ton of different ways on how to recognize characters and such. But for me, faces are a big thing, you know? Hello, Joe! How are you? We're doing an art stream today. It's great to see you. Oh, give me a second. I gotta... Oh, no. Okay. My brush settings are at the wrong. Yeah. I'm here for speed. Thank you. Alright, so deep set eyes. Round eyes. And I will say that my art style is very, at least the way I draw eyes is very anime. Because I used to draw in a very anime-ish style, but the main thing that I loved about the anime style is the eyes. So that's why I chose to draw in that style. So it's kind of carried over to the way I've developed my my drawing style recently. It's carried over a lot. So big old round eyes. You're doing great. Good. I'm glad you're doing great. Here, while I'm sketching this out, has anything interesting happened to anybody lately? Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time trying to make sure these look right. I'm just trying to show you some differences. Ooh, downturned eyes are a fun one. So, oops, that's the wrong pen. I do like downturned eyes. And then you can actually pair them with a bunch of different, like, lower eyelid shapes and stuff. But yeah, you see what I mean. There's a lot of different ways to draw eye shapes. So, now that I've made my point, which I'm pretty sure my point was already made, I just wanted to do it anyway. We're gonna start sketching out an eye. And I'm just gonna do like a basic shape that I normally default to. Alright, so I always start out with a basic shape like this. And yours doesn't have to look exactly like mine because the process I use is just mimicking whatever shape you make with the eyelashes and stuff. And I'm also going to show you how I render eyes at a distance versus how I render eyes when they're closer to the camera, in quotation marks. I feel better than last time? Good! You were sick last time you came in. Is your stomach feeling better, or do you still have the bug? Huzzah! Hello, Rin! Hi! Welcome in! Hope you're doing super duper. Should be an interesting stream. All in favor say aye. Good job, Rin. Thank you for using the word of the day. I really appreciate it. I found my sugar skull dress deep in one of the tubs from when we moved back into our apartment, so I wore it for a dinner date. That's so cool! That's one of the most interesting things. That is an interesting thing. That's really cool. That's super cool. I just realized if I keep my tab open on that particular, if I keep my thing open on that particular tab, my computer's gonna fall asleep, so I have to switch it over to the video. Aye aye, Captain! Yeah. Okay. So now I'm gonna sketch out an eyelashes shape. Again, you don't have to do the exact same thing I'm doing. I'm just going off of a whim here. So, let's see. This is actually really close to the eye shape that I did for Luciala for her Alicia cover. Really close actually, but the lower lid for her tends to go lower than this. I tend to do a shape like an almond eye shape, but this is more of a roundish. So now we're gonna decide how many lashes we want to give this upper eyelid and how thick we want it. I'm partial to thickness like this. I do like to exaggerate the thickness sometimes. A lot of time, how expressive your line art will determine the vibe the character has. Silver blink 34 times if you're in danger. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm blinking a lot. It's dust. I've got dust in my eye. Let's see. Not actually. It's just... Here we go. Let's try and shape this up just a wee bit. So, and now I'm going to do the lower lid. There we go. The rain keeps getting in my eye. Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. Was that a blink or a wink? I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know. Sorry guys, I didn't eat before stream, so I do have my lunch off to the side here. The rare double wink. It's Morse code. If you can't figure it out, then I'm sorry. I'm not gonna translate it for you. If you know, you know. So, we're gonna clean up this lower eyelid shape. And voila! And yes, I do a lot of sketch layers. I don't do well building off of my sketches. I've noticed I tend to like do a base, and then I do another base, and then I do a slightly more detailed base. And I just keep building it up that way because I'm terrified of like making a mistake on one layer and then having to like start further back than I want to, you know? So now we've got this shape figured out. And I think I'm going to do some exaggerated lashes for this one. And then I do like to pull these little corners down just a little bit. And when I draw the lower eyelid, I do have this shape going right here. Or actually, it goes towards the... It goes like this most of the time. Because this one meets this one on the outside. This line here meets the outer line of the eye. And then I... Boop. See? Because I do include, like, the outer edges of the eye whenever I'm drawing eyes. I'm saying I a lot. I'm so sorry. I. Chat, she's sending us signals. Quick, get the translators. E. Y. E. Let's see. I picked the wrong token. Okay. So we are... See? And then... like so. And then I do like to do like the outer lashes here. I'm just going to gently sketch out the shape I want. And then I do like to put one right here. Actually two. I like the rule of twos. Ta-da! All the blinks, lots of blinks, lots of blinks. So, now that we've sketched out the lower eyelashes, we're going to go back up here and finish building our upper lid. And I'm going to include this, and then I'm going to include a little eyelash off to the side here. And don't worry about thinning them out or anything. The And all the ear wiggles, yeah. My ears wiggle when I blink. E-I-E-I-O. Yeah. So, don't worry about thinning out your eyelashes yet. We're going to open another layer again. Also, am I moving too fast? I realized that I was like, oh yeah, y'all can follow this along really easily. And then I'm going like super fast. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna wait for a second. And I will say that with an anime kind of art style, they do normally do like a black outline around the eyes. I don't do that. I color block for my eyes. I rarely use a black outline unless I am specifically looking for a anime art style or going for an anime kind of look. They do that mainly for animation purposes. Silver is speed. Silver draws eyes a lot. Eyes are like the thing I get through the fastest now. Even though I feel like I spend the most time on the eyes. It's everything else that takes me a while. But I love eyeballs. They're so much fun. And so expressive. You know, eyes are the window to the soul. I do eyes closed to how I do eyeliner. Yes. Technically speaking, if I were to be like, oh yeah, no, this one's not wearing any, like, I don't know. I rarely have my characters wear makeup. Most of the time, I just treat the eyelashes, like, they're just their regular eyelashes. That's why I color the eyelashes so often. Because, I don't know, I've seen a lot of people with prominent eyelashes that are prominent without, like, eyeliner and stuff. Eyeliner is just drawing on your face, it is. Alright, so I think I've stopped for anybody who is following along. Are you caught up to this point, or do you need me to continue to wait for you? I don't care either way. Just let me know, because I want to make sure that I'm not leaving anybody behind. You know? I can't wait till we get to the rendering phase, because that's my favorite phase. That's where the magic happens. Bibbidi bobbidi boo, I cast a healing spell to heal your injuries. Thank you. Thank you. I feel much better now. Rejuvenated. I think I'm good? Okay, perfect. Rendering is always so fun. I love rendering. Rendering saves lives. Oh, I might want to save my file real quick. Oh no. Tutorial. I didn't prep this canvas very well before we started, guys. I almost just drew on my iPad with an actual pen instead of the pencil. That would have been awful. I'm so glad you caught yourself. I'm so glad you caught yourself. That would have been terrible. Also, welcome in, Huro. I did not welcome you. I'm so sorry. I literally saw you come in and I was like, oh, hi, in my mind. Don't, Clara. Oh my gosh, yes. No, don't. Okay, so we are now going to move on to the line art. I'm gonna... Alright, so I do... Hi, Huro. I am going to do... I do have a special pen that I use for eyelashes. But I really like it because it's the same pen that I use for the hair. But I always start off with a basic pen first. It was the act of removing the cap that made me hesitate long enough to realize. I'm so glad you caught that. That would have been terrible. Alright. I do not need the stabilization up that high. Alright, so we're gonna... brush size. Up that brush size. Okay. Could you please just work? There we go. Right, that's working better. See? And we're just following the lines of our sketch. And don't be afraid, like, if you're not following it completely and you're not getting your shape right, you can always build out your eyelashes. You can always shape them the way you want them to be shaped, like this. Because we're gonna use a fill tool to fill in the gaps. Or you can color it by hand if you want. Oh my gosh, that line was so wobbly. Okay, there we go. Strong, confident strokes. Woo, you almost crossed the line. I did. I did. That would have been terrible. Oh. There we go. Okay, that's the shape I want. And then we flick, and we flick. And this G pin is something that everybody has when you're using Clip Studio Paint. So it's normally located in the pin section, unless you've moved it. I don't know what your setup looks like, so I have no. And we're just tracing those lines. Hello, Zany Draws! Welcome in! It's nice to see you! We're drawing eyes today. Blink, blink. Also, I am a big... Okay, I'm really bad about, like, zooming in really, really close. I have to rely on my, like, little window thing to make sure that everything looks correct. Because I do spend a lot of time zoomed in. And I rotate my canvas constantly. You know, like, you spin me right around, baby, right around. Like a record, baby. You know? I spend a lot... I am big on the whole rotation thing. Oops. That is not the line I wanted. Here we go. And we're just gonna shape this. I don't like how that one curved. Now, if it curves too much, then I tend to, like, just keep... The line art is so peak. Thank you! Thank you! It looks a little rough right now, but we're gonna fix it in a second. Here we go. Also, it's not cheating if you use a stabilization tool. I use stabilization because I'm drawing directly on a slick screen. So it does not mimic... It does not give me the same line quality as paper does, because paper has way more resistance than a screen does. If someone tells you stabilization is cheating, they are lying. They are a liar. Do you have a live cam to show your iPad and pen? I do not. I do not. But I don't use an iPad. I use my computer screen, like a laptop computer screen. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, exactly. Alright. And I like drawing the corners of the eyes. If you don't like drawing the corners of the eyes, you can always leave this open and it looks just as good. See? I just like drawing the corners of the eyes. I think it's an important part of the shape language of the eye. to me. I just like it. I just think it looks nice. But you don't have to do that. I did not do that correctly. 1 second. Corner of the eye needs to be fixed. This. There we go. There we go. Nice. Alright, now we're gonna whoop. Just a little sweeping motion with your arm. You just go whoop. And then you go whoop. Yamada so kawaii. Thank you! Thank you! Breaking the immersion for a second to say, I drew her myself. I drew her myself. Now back into the thick of things. Let's see. I'm gonna take back some of my lines. 1 second. Sweep. There we go. There we go. And then sweep. Sweep. No. That is not the line quality I want. Sweep. There we go. She drew it because she's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Not doing this right. 1 second. I messed up. I want to keep the quality because I like the way I drew that. Okay, there we go. This chat feels like home. Thank you. I'm so glad you feel comfortable. That's like my biggest thing. I want people to feel comfortable. What was that? I don't have my alerts on. 1 second. Oh, those are old widgets. Dang. I'm so sorry. I don't know what just happened, but I heard a noise. I heard a noise. I don't know what the noise meant, but I heard a noise. And I don't have little widgets. I need to make me some widgets, to be perfectly honest with you guys. But I did have some. It's just I don't have any up right now. Because I was going to redesign them. Okay, here we go. Looky there. Now, sometimes I will say that when I am drawing eyes, you won't always see me complete the line right here. This line right here. You won't always see me complete that. And it's just like on a whim. It's just something I do on a whim. Whether or not I leave it open or closed. And the reason is that sometimes I'll imply that line by adding eyelashes there. For those who don't know what I mean, I'm about to show you. So let's say I don't have this line here, and I'm doing a botched job of erasing this, but it's just to make a quick point. I do this instead. Something like that. I'm a traditional artist? Oh, yes! We all start as traditional artists. But I love traditional art. I think it's gorgeous. It's just as gorgeous as any other art form. I don't know a thing about digital art. Well, that's okay. I can be your introduction. Sort of. I started at a young age. I saw people doing speed paints online, and I was like, I want to do that. So for my 14th birthday, the only thing I wanted was a Wacom tablet to use to draw on the computer with. And that's what I got. I got it, and it has changed my art ever since. I'm close. That's so cool! Oh my gosh, congratulations! That's so awesome. Ooh. See, I use implications like this. Like the, with the eyelashes here, instead of completing that line. I guess I'll keep it that way for now. I hope you reach. Thank you, thank you. I'm on the way. I'm on the way. I'm almost halfway there. And I'm really excited about it. Here we go. And here, I'm gonna fix this to make it look nicer. And then, here we go. See? Stuff like that. I'm gonna go back to how I completed the line though, because I liked the way it looked better. See? I went from traditional to digital on mobile, and now I just steal my sibling's drawing tablet. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, hey, as long as they're okay with it, what does it matter? Oops. Here we go. Ah, that doesn't look quite right.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes, guys. It's all part of the process.
Okay. I trust it's going to look better in a second. Alright, now we're gonna add our eyelashes. I use crayons in a coloring book. Hey, that's just as valid. Whatever helps you release your creativity. I'm a Pakistar. Alright. Mood? Oh wait, what are we mooding? Oh, the crayons and coloring book? Yeah. Here we go. Alright. So, it looks kind of rough right now. But we're gonna fix that. Okay, I like using the selection tool as my fill tool. And we're gonna select the outside of the eye. And then we're gonna select this little closed area by pressing shift. Here we go. So now we've selected both. We're going to invert that area. And then we're gonna click the fill tool. Voila! Oh wait, 1 second. It's lagging behind me. Voila! There we go. And that is our eye for right now. I am going to add a few details using my special little brush. You can get it on the Clip Studio Paint store. It's called... Let me find it. Oh no. Where is it? Is it my realistic? No, I think I put in my thick paint. Yes. It's called the Hairbrush, and I don't use thick strands. I use the Hairbrush. Here, let me write it out for you. It's R-I star and then hair brush, and then in parentheses it says strands. That's what it looks like on the store. I have two OCs, one's realistic, the other's anime style, but I like the anime one because she has a cosmic energy. That's really cool. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Your accolades mean the world. Let's see. Alright, so this hairbrush strand, what we're going to do, this is only on size 10. We want this a little bit. And then it has a really nice texture to it. You see? Oh, well, 1 second. Why is the stabilization so high? Oh my gracious. It's been a while since I've used that one. Alright, see? It's got a really nice texture to it. Well, if it would show up. Why is it lagging behind me so much? There it is. Here, we're gonna zoom in and do it. This is the texture I'm talking about. It's really, really nice. And it's what I use for my hair strands. Because it's got those like little split ends in it and stuff. Not like split ends as in hair, but you know what I mean. And then we're just gonna go over it just a little bit. Oops. It's also got like a very painterly effect to it, so you can push and pull the color. Careful, if you're not into like the fluffy eye look, it's really easy to go overboard with this one, because you can like make your eyes look just super fluffy. Super, super fluffy like this. Which works for some art styles, just not my art style. I tried it, trust me, it does not work. Just use your own discretion for this one. It's also what I use to render the eyelashes themselves. So, oops. There we go. And we're just gonna, oops. Whoops. Oh, gracious me. The brush by Bigotry? I don't know. I'm not sure, actually. I can't remember at this point in time. All I know is that it was on the front page once, and I wanted it, and so therefore I got it. I have a question. How many layers do you have to use for just an eye? Okay, so once we get into the rendering process, you're going to start seeing a lot more layers. But for the line art, I only use one layer. For the line art. But once we start getting into the thick of it, you're gonna see that I use a lot more. See, and it just adds like a really brushy quality. And a feathery quality. That's the word I'm looking for. It adds a very feathery quality to the eyelashes, makes them look nice and soft. Yes, the Re has little stars in it. Oops. That's impressive, OMG. You're a pro, girl. Thank you. Thank you. Art is my passion. Art and writing are my passions. Here we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. See? Looky there. Nice and pretty. Nice and soft looking. See, and it pushes that transparency too. So it looks really, really nice. Oh, I don't like how hooked that became. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Ah, same, yes. I love it when the channel attracts like-minded people. It's the best. Here we go. All right. And here we go. I'm obsessed with poetry. English is my third language, but that doesn't stop me. Hey, it shouldn't stop you. I love poetry too. I've written a few poems. I haven't written poetry in a long time, but I've written a few poems before. I have like a little poetry collection in my Google Documents, and I like reading it occasionally and being like, yeah, I did that. Oops. Here we go. That's the quality I wanted. Oh, wait. Here we go. There we go. Same? Yeah. Look, Google Docs is a great place to keep your stuff. I mean, even though there is limited space, it's a lot of space for being limited. There we go. That's exactly what I want. Nope, too much. I just found someone incredible! you. Oh, heck. There we go. That's what I wanted. And then... Nope. There. Perfect. And I'm actually going to add some smaller ones here by doing this. And these are just going to have the feathery quality to them. Because I do like adding the little mini eyelashes. I think they add some variety to the eye. But I will say that I tend to avoid that at a distance. Whenever I draw eyes at a distance, they get less detailed because otherwise it starts looking really messy. A pro tip for ya. Oh my gracious. Oh my gracious. Oh my gracious. What in the world? Here we go. Much better. And there we go. Okay, so now that we're done with the lashes, I'm going to take a quick munching break. Give me a second. And then we're gonna move on to the eye rendering. Now, I do use a fair amount of layers when I'm rendering eyes. I normally do about 5? My iPad does not like to download brushes and other materials. Oh no! I'm so sorry, Clara. That's really frustrating. Part of the allure for Clip Studio Paint is the brush store. All right. I hid my sketch layer, and now we're gonna open up a new layer underneath the line art layer, and this layer, and this is going to be our sclera, which is the white part of the eye. Sorry, I was drinking some coffee. Dang, it's taken me 45 minutes to get this far. We may not be drawing a bunch of eyes today. I had planned to draw a bunch of different eyes, but it looks like we aren't drawing a bunch of different eyes today. I will show you how I render different colors, though. Alright, so... Also, whenever I draw on a gray canvas because it's less likely to hurt your eyes. Also a pro tip. I'm actually going to make this gray color a little bit darker. There we go. So we can see the white better. So we're going to put the white throughout here. And I just trace along the edges here. Alright. See? And now we're going to do that little selection tool thing again. We're going to invert, and then we're going to fill tool. All right. How are we thus far? Do I need to slow down, or are we good to go? Remember, you can use your own methods to do what I'm doing. Right now, we're just building up the base. Like, if you have your own methods for coloring the inside of the eye, feel free to do those instead of what I'm doing. It does not matter in the grand scheme of things. I will not be offended, I promise. VTuber literally drew my profile picture. She made my day. That's so cool. That's so awesome. That's so cool. I'm so happy for you. Good to go. Okay, perfect. Is everybody else good to go? I don't want to leave anybody behind. I will say that real quick. we are going to fill in the pinks of the eyes. I normally go for like a gray pink because that feels more fleshy. I know that word isn't very like pretty, but that's like the best way I can describe it. It's just fleshy, and it's what the inner eye looks like most of the time, because most of the time it's not a bright pink, because you don't perceive it as a bright pink because of the veins and stuff. So sorry, that got a little gross there, but I felt the need to explain the thought process behind it. But we're gonna use like this purplish pink color. Good, full sales, perfect. I love to hear it. Also, if you are in the Discord and you're following along, once we're done here, I would love to be able to see y'all's drawings. If you'll post it in the art room. And for anybody who isn't in the Discord is in a link in the description below. You should be able to find it pretty easily because I've separated my description into a bunch of different little sections. So hopefully you should be able to find it. The flesh. Yep, the flesh. Alright, so next we're going to do the pupil. Not the pupil, the iris, which is the colored part of the eye. No flower could dare compare to the sparkle of her loving stare. Indeed, indeed. I am mostly watching. Gotcha. That's a-okay too. Watching and observing, and plus this is a live stream that's going to be up for a long time, so you can always come back to it if you want to follow along. Alright, now, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to start the rendering process. So, I take the sclera layer, I take the iris layer, and I clip it to the sclera layer so that when I'm drawing the iris, it's not going to bleed out into the canvas. So I don't have to like manually erase everything once I'm done. So once you've clipped your layer, and for those who don't know where the clipping layer is, you can go over to the little lighthouse in the top corner here. I know you can't really see where my mouse is because of the chat box, but it's right above the top layers, and it's right beside the lighthouse looking thing that's like for set as reference layer. It says clip to layer below, or you can right click your layer and then clip it. But that's where that is, and it keeps you from drawing on the outside of the layer below. So see how I'm drawing outside of this, but it's not showing up? Oh, 1 second. It would help if I used a color that would actually show up. See how I'm drawing on the outside of this and it's not showing up? Ta-da! Alright, so we're gonna zoom out a little bit for this. I see the arrow. Okay, perfect! That's wonderful. So we are going to fill in a circle here. That looks like she's crazy. Give me a second. We're gonna use an even. I just realized I am working on a very large canvas. I want the quality to be nice. Okay, boom. We've got our circle, and that's my trick for drawing circles for the eyes. By the way, is that I just pick a larger pin and I just like. Oh wait, I'm on a clipping layer. 1 second, you will be able to see that. And I just like apply pin pressure until it's the size I want it, you know? So it just starts off as small, and then I just continuously apply pressure. And boom, you've got your perfect circle. Pro tip number 2. Okay, so I normally start with a much darker base color for the iris. So we're gonna start, I normally shift it down until it's like almost a black color. And then we're gonna convert drawing to color. And boom. I guess we're doing violet eyes for now. I've been thinking about purple eyes a lot today, and it was like the first color I color picked. So that's what we're doing today. Alright, so now we're not gonna name this quite yet, but I've opened another layer and I'm clipping it to this iris layer. Only a writer like you would understand my painful poetry. We tend to understand one another, hopefully. I hope so. I hope we're better at understanding one another. I feel like to be a good writer, you need to have a good understanding of people in general. Also, I'm unclipping that layer and then just using this here, clear that out, because I do like... Okay, so we're clipping this layer to the iris. Crazy? I'm not crazy. I'm just insanity adjusted. I love that. No change in my perception as if it were a tinted mirror, dust on the glass, and the crack in a corner. Ooh, I like that. That's metaphorical. Alright. So, the tool I use for rendering my eyes is called the transparent watercolor brush. No gratitude or affection, as if it were a rented figure. Oh. And we're going to use a larger pen for this, and we're just gonna render in a circle here. If I would just choose a lighter color, here we go. And I normally start at the bottom here, and then I work my way around, pushing the color up. And it creates that faded look for you without you having to use the airbrush tool. And then I just keep doing that in order to slowly but surely form the eye pupil. And I do round pupils rather than oblong pupils. I know some people use oblong. 1 second, I'm locking in, because I just realized my color. Some people use oblong, I tend to use round. It just depends on your preference. And we are gonna clean this up in a second. And then we push that color back down to create that little color ring around the eye. See, now it's not as vibrant. And then we're just gonna build up the colors using those methods. And we're just pushing and pulling those colors around to get the effects we want. See? Expected a history but got rewarded by pure misery, disguised as a mystery I live. Oh. And let's see. I'm going to... Okay, this is not in the center of the eye, so we're just going to adjust that real quick. I'm going to rotate this. And then just... And don't worry about, like, how... Again, we're going to use the eraser tool to help shape this. We're just building it up right now. See? And then we pull. Careful, if you make the pupil too small, it'll make your character look like they're on drugs. So be careful about that. Unless that's what you want. Okay, and now we're gonna... I always like to add a brighter color up near the eyelashes here to help draw in some attention to it. See? It's very subtle, but it adds a lot. I hate that whenever I use this pen, it makes it look so pixelated on when I'm streaming. Here, if I could just zoom in enough to where y'all can see it better. See? Can you see that little burst of color right here? I hope you can. Now we're gonna use the eraser tool, and we are going to sculpt our pupil a little bit more. There we go. And now it's got harsher edges. Perfect. Hello, Del Taco. Welcome in. It's a pleasure to see you. And we're going to turn this. And I'm going to blend this in here. Here we go. How are you? And we're going to do this color thing again, because it kind of got faded in once I did that rendering just now. So there we go. So now we've got our pupil built. I do tend to sculpt it out of the negative space because I like how that looks. I also like leaving a dark ring around the edges of the eye because that makes it look more realistic. We are actually going to increase that down at the bottom here by erasing some of this. Like so. Ta-da! And it creates the illusion of that black outline that a lot of anime artists use. I'm good, making dinner. I had to quick run to the store because my refrigerator content is in a dire state. Oh no! I'm sorry about that. I'm glad you got it fixed, though. Having food is important. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. But having food is very important. Fun fact, you need sustenance. Okay, so. Now, we're doing more color. We're gonna pick a lighter color. And we're gonna do the exact same thing we did with the other one. We're just shifting this like so. And then we're gonna pull in the color again and try and shape it to where it feels more round on the edges. And then we're gonna do this here. Also, it doesn't matter if it's directly in the center. I think it looks better if it's not, to be perfectly honest. Now that we've got that looking pretty good, actually. We're looking really, really good. And let's say you don't want to use more detail. We could actually leave it at this, and then you could just go ahead and add your eye shines here. And you don't have to do the next few steps that I'm going to be doing. Because this is how I rendered the eyes that you see on the thumbnail here. On the thumbnail for this live stream. I stopped at this because she was farther away from the camera than normal. Then closer, you know? Anyway. So you could theoretically stop here and then just start adding your eye shines. Which, I do this, and then I do this, and then I just put it on a glow layer. And then I just lower the opacity. But, I will say that, I don't end here. I don't. And we're here to see how I normally draw eyes. And using this painterly brush makes them look way more detailed than like it would if you were using a simpler eye style. And I'm going to be showing you guys how to do simpler eye styles today too. So anyway, we removed that layer and now we're going to open a new layer. And we're going to start my detailing process, which I normally have this right here. And then I use the G pen and we're just going to, whoops. No, not like that. And we're just gonna draw some ovals around here. And normally I make the ovals get smaller towards the top of the eye. You don't have to do that, but I like doing it like this. Because there's gonna be eyeshadow up there anyway, so you're not gonna be able to see them. See? That looks a little strange, I'm gonna be honest. So we're gonna use the liquefy tool and we're gonna make some minor adjustments to... Ah! Too much. Make it more round. There we go. They're also not the same size. Just off. Just to make them look more even. There we go. Alright. Now once you've drawn all those ovals, I'm going to go back in. And we're gonna use little streaks. So. And you put them between each oval. Up until you get up to this area. And now you're gonna add little, you're gonna shrink your pen a little bit so that's easier. And then you're gonna add little dots to these corners here. There we go. And then you're gonna add little dots to these corners here. And you're just gonna do that around this till you get to the top, and then you can like kind of just taper out if you want to. You don't have to. This. All right. What do you mean eye style? Sad eye, happy eye, angry eye, reptilian eye? There's a bunch of different ways that you can render eyes. This is just my personal way of doing it. I was going to show you guys some simpler ways to do eyes that are really, really cute for people who aren't as into like eye details as I am. Because I'm borderline obsessive about my eyes. I love drawing eyes. And my eyes are sometimes almost not quite hyper-realistic, but really, really close. And sometimes it can be a little uncanny. So I have to change the style sometimes to fit the drawing that I'm doing. This is the way I love to do eyes. We're gonna make this a glow layer, and then we're going to lower the opacity by a lot. And then once you lower that opacity, it should look nice and faded and kind of subtle, which is what we want. We want it to be nice and subtle. And then, once you've got it... Yeah, everybody does it a little differently. It depends highly on what you like. I like detailed eyes. I think they're really, really pretty. I do more detail the closer to the camera the person is. So now we're going to do another clipping layer, and we're going to add some eye shines. But instead of that pink that I was doing earlier, I think I'm going to do some yellow to add some visual variety. So I am once again using my watercolor tool. You don't have to use it, but I like using it. This. And I'm going to use... Actually, make sure when you're doing the eye shines, you follow the curve of the eye, because the eye is indeed a sphere. So follow that curve as much as you can. And then once you've done that, I'm gonna wait for my stream to catch up a little bit. I also like putting lights in the pupils, and I'll show you all how I do that in a second. Okay, so now that we're here, we're gonna press glow. And then you're gonna lower the opacity just a smidgen. Here we go. And then I will say that since it is so close to the upper eyelid, you're gonna want to erase the top half a little bit so that it looks like that it's casting an eyeshadow. Like so. Here we go. Art fight theme reveal is in 3 hours. I know. I'm gonna be hopping on to take a look-see-loo at it in a little bit. I didn't realize I was streaming the same day as the art fight stream until like I was about to start streaming. I was like, oh. Well, it's okay. It's fine. We'll be fine. So I am going to take a look-see-loo at that once we're done. All right. So this is what it looks like with the yellow highlights. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like with cooler highlights. Because if you use the warm color, it makes the eye look warmer, more inviting. And then if you use a cooler color like blue, it gives it a more cold eye color. It makes the purple look cooler rather than warmer. The magic of color theory. Feel free to ping me with that, what the themes are when they are revealed. Oh, I will. As soon as I know what they are, I am posting it in the Discord and tagging all the artists and being like, guys, the theme for this year is this! Cyan is also a good inside color. Like this green, this is more of a turquoise. But this also looks good with purple. It gives it a slightly lighter tone. I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna go to an orange though, because I really do like combining orange with purple. I think it looks really, really nice. It looks nice and warm. And I tend to go for warmer tones with purple eyes because purple is a cool color and I like the contrast. But for the vibes of any character that you are doing, change the highlight color. Now we are nearing the end of everything, by the way, guys. Trust. So now that we've done this, I'm actually going to combine these layers here, and then we're gonna flip this, the layer below. Yep. Okay. And I'm gonna take my iris layer. Yep. Yep. Nope. Yep. Just make sure that nothing's bleeding out. All right, perfect. Now we're going to open another clipping layer, and what I did was I changed everything but from being clipped to the iris to being clipped to the sclera again, so that when we do this number here, it's just going to automatically, we don't have to do like any extra like erasing or anything. We can just do this. Oh, that is the wrong airbrush tool. I like using the soft airbrush. Alright. Oh, that's way too small. Here we go. And we're just gonna add the shadow up top. And we're going to lower that opacity. I normally use dark blue, but you can use any color that you want. If you are going to use different colors, I highly recommend matching that color to whatever shading color you're using for the rest of the drawing. That's what it looks like with the red. I prefer blue because it helps because it looks more similar to like how eyes look in real life. But yeah, you can do any color you want to, really. Give me 1 second. Here we go, and then we're just gonna lower the opacity a bit more because we don't want it to be too strong. And then we're gonna put the glow layer on top of the shading layer so that the eye shine stands out. Because we don't want it to be hidden, because that's where the light is hitting. Next we're gonna do our little white eye shines. Now, friendly reminder that when you're doing eye shines, make sure you keep in mind where the direction the light is coming from, because that's where it would be on both eyes. And if you reflect one eye over from one side, it's actually going to make your character look kind of cross-eyed. So make sure you consider your eye shine placement. And you know what? I'm gonna add a little one right over here. And boom, ta-da! And that's how you do little eye shines. That's how I do my my rendering for my eyes. Now I will say that I do. Okay, so since this is going to be a violet color, I'm going to change the color of the eyelashes to this brown color, this kind of dark brown color. And then I'm going to open up this next layer, and we're going to use orange. And we're going to go over to my special little hair tool. Again, we're pulling out the Hair Strands brush again. Sometimes people just mirror the eyes and it throws me off so much. See, and that's what I'm talking about, because it does make the eyes look strange. It creates a cross-eyed look. And if you want that, that's fine and well. But if you don't want that, if that's not what the character design is, that's not part of the character design, then don't do that. Just draw them in manually, and just make sure they're facing the same direction, because that's where the light source is. Okay, so one second, I ate a spicy barbecue chip and I'm going to cough because I breathed right afterwards. I'm okay now. Okay, so now we're going in with our hair strands brush. I'm gonna use a larger part, and we're just gonna do this. Give me 1 second. I think I have to yeah, here's stabilization. I don't want stabilization on, because we're trying to blend it. Okay, so this isn't as blending as well as it normally does. Okay, give me 1 second. Gosh, this thing is having such a hard time. It is not having a good time. And we're following the lash line for this one. Oh my gosh, please! I'm trying to add back some of my stabilization because it's not working. Okay. Normally it's a little more blended than this, but for some reason my pen is not liking me right now. But what we're doing is we're just adding like little eyelash details. And then here, move these lines just a little bit. Normally mine are, gosh, yeah. Nope. That's not. Those weren't even the same line. Why did you all disappear at the same time? Okay. Gosh, that looks really weird, because it's not blending the way it normally does. I am going to use my blur tool a little bit on this, because normally it blends in a little bit more. Could you show the difference between mirroring eyes and the fix? I'm not fully understanding. Yes. Yes. I will. Alright, so add glow. No, add glow. Add glow! Oh my gosh. Give me 1 second, guys. It's my program's being a dummy. Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and draw. Why is it lagging so much? Oh my gracious. I'm wanting to show you guys how to render eyes differently than the way I do it. Like some very anime kind of styles. Scuff gets her! It's getting me good! Oh my gracious. I just want to make this layer a glow layer. Okay, give me 1 second. Is there a way to change the layer settings from here? I swear to goodness gracious, this is going to drive me insane. Okay, so normally I would set this to a glow layer and then lower the opacity like this, because the glow layer helps keep the quality of the, it just makes it look good. But yes, essentially this. I just go through and I like render in the eyelashes and stuff. And real quick, we are going to put all of this in a folder. One second. Ah, it's lagging so much right now. It's insane. Put this in a folder. Here we go. Alright, and now we're gonna... Okay, so... Give me a second. Please! Please, just work! I've consumed my yummy food now, so bye-bye in case I don't return. Okie dokie! Have fun eating your food. I hope it's delicious. Okay. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're going to actually shrink these layers real quick so that I can show you guys what I mean by mirroring the eyes. So we're shrinking. Move this up. Okay. Come on, Clip Studio Paint. You can do it. You've got this. You've got this. You are a professional. You are a professional program. You've got this. Okay, so control. Then we're gonna paste. Hello! What are we drawing today? I'm showing everybody how I draw eyes. Hello, Eagle. How are ya? Alright, so now we're gonna select that again. And then we're going to move it. And then we're going to flip it so I can show what I mean. One second. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the eyes are gonna be like way too close together, but this is what I mean. So see how the white shines on those eyes are close together, and it kind of makes the eyes look cross-eyed rather than like they're facing forward properly. See how that looks kind of strange? Well, in what I was talking about, instead of leaving it like that, you would instead take these eye whites here. Oh my gosh. And then you'd move them over to this side instead. Because that's where the direction of the light is coming from. Same thing with like the little glowy shine here that I've got on the eye. One second, it's loading. And then, oh my gosh, please. See? Now all the light is coming from the same direction, and that looks much better. Much, 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 much better. I'm well, I had some yummy lunch. Ooh, what'd you have for lunch? See? See how much better that looks? We're gonna move this layer so that it's easier to see, because the closeness of the eyes might be slightly distracting. Here we go. That's more normal. See? Okay. So that's what I meant by mirroring the eyes. Okay. Now that we've done that, we're actually going to move this back to where I had it earlier. And luckily we kept our sketch in the right place. And I'm going to quick show you guys how to do some simpler eye shading. Here we go. Okay, close enough. Okay, that helped, I understand. Perfect, perfect, I'm glad. So now, we are going to do some simpler eye shading. So, we are going to turn off all of these. Alright, and I'm going to copy this iris and put it on top of this one. That, and then we're gonna add our color again. And we're going to convert that drawing to color so that we've got the solid base again. Perfect. Alright, so the more simple way to render eyes would be, so there's a few different ways that you can render eyes, especially in like an anime style. So you'll choose your color, and this is like using like cell shading styles, right? So you're going to, instead of using my watercolor brush, you're gonna use a hard edge brush like G-Pen, and you're just gonna color in a circle here. And to help this like not look so realistic, here we go. And then you are going to, well, that's actually one style that I've seen before. Like, simple as that, just that, and then you've got your eye shines. Boom. Here's one, that's one really, really simple way to draw eyes. And there's also one version of it where you can add the pupil, and you just add the pupil so. Ta-da! Really classic anime's eye style, you know? To make, so now some people, in order to make it look more detailed, would do something like this. And blend it in. Just blend those edges in. And then boom! Yet another eye style. Like, it like progressively can get more detailed. Let's say you want to do something a little more detailed than that. Well, you could keep this, and then you could actually add more little color blobs to it. Like this, and then you just, oops. This. Because I've seen this too. If it would work for me. Oh wait, actually it would work better if I kept the hard edges. So like this. You see? You could also do something like this. It just works. It does. It does. Like, and it just, again, it just progressively gets more detailed. Now, let's say you were doing this, and then, or like the other styles too, you could actually make it look more detailed by adding your glow layers and stuff. So, I forgot that my glow layers weren't working. Ugh! Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Why are you behaving like this? Why are you being mean to me? So my layers just hate me right now, but trust me, it would look better. It's not gonna look as good as I want it to, but because it'd look better if I could add the glow layer. But let's say you're wanting to do some. So you could do some subtle eye shine like this. Put it on top of the. Don't forget to put it on top of the pupil layer. What? Oh wait, the pupil needs to be. See, like this, and then you could do this too. Using the airbrush tool. Most people don't use the airbrush tool though. They'll actually go in and they'll use. You'll airbrush some light to the top, and then instead of airbrushing, you'll take the hard edge and then you'll go like this. See? And then you can like add another shine up here if you want, or right here. You know? There used to be an eye style that I used to do. I'm trying to think of. Really, really fond of it. How did that go? Ah, I remember. So... this. And then this. Would be just a darker color in general. Instead of like the black color, it would be like this. And then we'll bring back the pupil. I should have kept the pupil, to be honest. And then you're just gonna go like this. Oops. This. Move that layer over a little bit. Move that down. And then this one involves a little more shading. We're going to remove this. We're going to remove this. And we're going to add that lighter pink. Using just gonna... Let's see. Sorry, I'm... Make it... Oops, all eye shines and you got 90s anime style. Yep, exactly. Okay. And then you'd open up a new layer. And you'd... Realistically, you would be adding glow to this. But since I can't add glow, I'm not... You're not gonna be able to see it the way it looks with glow. And then you just follow this to here. It has to be on top of the pupil. There we go. And then you'll take the eraser tool. And then you'll note the eraser tool. And with the soft eraser, you'd go in and you'd erase bits of the eye. I could just get my, like so. And just erase this. And then you'll airbrush some color up here. And then, okay, yeah, it's still not working. And it'd be like something like that. I can't remember exactly how I used to do it. I'm trying to think. Let me look it up. Anime eyes render. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to render eyeballs. Let's see. That's right. It was with the airbrush tool. Yeah, it's with the airbrush. I know this style. I think I was using that tutorial the other day. Yep. Here. We're deleting all of these and starting over. Okay, so here's like another example. Using the airbrush tool, mostly the airbrush tool for rendering the eyes. So here you'd add like a glow and you'd be like in the almost at the dead center of the eye. Like this. And that's also an eye style in of itself, to be honest. Real quick, I am going to go ahead and add some eye shading up here. Like this. There you go. All I did was just brush the top of the eyeball. And now we're going to do another lighter color at the center here. So it creates this like radiance effect. There's like, it's like radiating out from a point. And then, now you do the pupil, and they rarely use pitch black for the pupil. You're gonna put the pupil in. Here we go. And you're going to select the pupil. And you're actually going to airbrush a color circle into the eyeball. So. And now you're going to open up another layer. This time it's a glow layer. It would ideally be a glow layer, but again, my glow layer is not working right now. So we're just going to just use your imagination. And we're going to go in with that. Yep, there we go. And now we erase. certain areas. So. And then you do some more like little eye shines. There's actually a lot of layering involved for like eye styles like this. So you just do like a bunch of like little eye shines. You'd especially do some around the whites here. And then you'd add... You'd airbrush some more light onto it. So... yeah. And you like use different colors too, so you can use like a blue here. This is... which one is this? Oh, I used the wrong layer. 1 second. Just airbrush here. This. And then 1 second. I am looking at a tutorial because it's been a while since I've done eyes like this. Oh yeah, and just a bunch of like little eye shine details, like here. Some people will actually go around the rim of the eyes, like so, and create a shiny layer there. And then you can like add more detail. This. It's just like a bunch of little dots, little color blobs. Madame, I want to say a poem. Feel free to say your poem. Read it to the world. This is my favorite so far. Yeah. This one is a good style. It is a good style. Oh, there's one style that I was going to try and do that I haven't done yet. So here's this style, and you're just like adding a bunch of pretty little blobs, just you can do like a bunch of different colors to get like any sort of effect you want. So now that we've done that, I'm going to delete all of that, and I'm going to show you a different way. Actually, I'm going to keep the pupil. Oh, here we go. Yeah, because this pupil's still gonna work. Okay, so now the path is quiet. Take your bow. The future calls. You step on now. Embrace the road. Be truly free. With hope to guide you. Let it be. Ooh, I like that poem. I especially like it because it rhymes. I love a good rhyme. All right, so now we're gonna do it like this. Really. Okay, I'm starting to remember my roots. Because I did try this style for a while. So, style for a while. Hehe. Okay, so sorry. Take the big pen and you block in the color here. Here we go. And then you can use eraser tool. Make sure you clean up those edges there. Make sure that it looks nice. And then you'll take this and you make a little half moon circle kind of. Oh my gosh, please. Just register my pin, please. Okay, so, oops. Here we go. And then you make like little strokes like this. And now you'll open up a new layer you'll take this color, this base color here, and you're going to paint that back in right here. This, same thing over here. And then you're going to take the blur tool and you're going to blur right up here. Just blur those edges just a little bit. Like so. And now you're going to open up a layer underneath the darker shading layer. And then you're going to take your lighter color. And you can either airbrush or not airbrush. So like, you can do, here's what it looks like with the airbrush. And here's what it looks like with the cell shading kind of deal. I prefer the airbrush. Honestly, if you're gonna do the cell shading thing, I would blend it a little bit. Like, you know, you see this and then you just blur a little bit. Like that. But I will say that I kind of did this part right here the hard way. We're going to do, I just remembered a trick I used to use when I was drawing in the anime style. Oh my gosh, I'm reaching so deep into myself right now. It's been so long since I've drawn eyes like this, but I'm finding it. I'm finding it. It's coming back. It's all coming back to me now. It's all returning. I'm finding my roots again. So I will say that I used the eraser tool a lot. So I would do this, and then I would take my hard eraser tool, and I would kind of just do this little number here. Like, erase it so that it was like nearly a perfect circle. You see? Does your trick require cards? No, not this one. I will say that it is being a little odd for me. Oh, I see. I've got it at an odd setting. Here we go. Now it's behaving the way I want it to. I do want this to be a little bit bigger. Oh, that's too much. Okay. So now we're going to open a new layer, and we're going to take that dark color that we just used, and then we're going to go over the pupil. Oops. We're going to make this bigger than the pupil. Oop, my bad. Nope. Here we go. This is what we want. Okay, so bear with me. It's going to turn out good. Oop. And then you just erase down here. And you just, that way it forms a slightly more perfect circle. 1 second, it's not behaving for me because my computer's being slow. Ah! See? And that creates a more perfect shape. You see? And we are going to move the pupil down a little bit because it needs to be moved down. Wait. There we go. And now we're going to add those little dots from earlier. Ah! forgot that I had the larger. Just gonna. And then like that. And then you'll also add some little dots up here. We're gonna add like these. Oh no, we're gonna add this color. See? And now we're gonna add those eye shines. Like the ones I normally would use the glow layer for if my glow layer was working. Airbrush. And then the large tool. And now we're gonna do the eraser again. And we want this to be shaped a little bit like that. And now we can add more eye shines. Oops. This. And then, you know, people like to add like little heart shapes and stuff, so you can like do like a little heart shape. You know, and like a little dot here, add some dots around here, just like rendering like crazy, you know? Oh yeah, and then you have to like shade the eyeball in general. I'd like to use a bunch of eye shines, just a butt ton of eye shines. Let me shade the eyeball a bit. Some shading. Where's the eye white? Here it is. Okay. And now we're gonna zoom out a little bit. See? And you ask when you ask C when you draw eyes. Do you say listen when you draw ears? Listen to me. Listen well. Okay, and now we're gonna do the white. I am saying C a lot. I sure hope you see it. Because if not, it's not gonna make much sense. Alright, so we're gonna doing this. Just gonna keep on adding those little eye shines. See? And now you've got a rendered anime eye. Oh wait. There is one extra step that I haven't done. And that is the darker line art along the edges of the eye here. Because they follow a lot of like circles. So it'd be like this. All the way around. Now personally, I was very fond of like blending things when I was doing eyes like this. So I would take like my blend tool and I would blend in like these harsh edges here. Just because I think it looks nice. it also gives everything like a softer edge. See? And ta-da! Looky there. A fully rendered anime eye. I'm going to quick do something now that I think about it. Because there's also like one step that I haven't done yet that I think you guys would enjoy seeing. And that is... Also, go me for doing this without any of my effect layers. Because I rely heavily on those. It's nice to know I can do something like this without relying heavily on them. Yep, that little lighter color. I'm gonna... And you can either leave it like this, but I was really fond of blurring it. Like this. And then if you use the smudge tool, the blend tool, it looks really nice because then you're pulling some of the darker edges in. So. And ta-da! Woohoo! Yuppie! We did it. Look at us go. Just bunches of dots. There's a lot of dots. That's like the secret to drawing any anime eye is just a bunch of dots. Wherever you think needs a dot, like if you see an empty space, add a dot. Add a shiny little dot. And that's the general rule. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, I did. I lost something during my rendering. 1 second. Hurrah! I see! Yes, thank you. Okay. So, these little dots kind of disappeared, so we're gonna add those back. This. And then you can actually, it actually looks really good if you just follow here. Yeah. So that it blends into the eye down here. Could you show a closed eyelid? I think I could, we've got 5 minutes. I'm sure I can do that in 5 minutes. But yeah, anime eye, whoop-de-doo. I'm gonna hide all of this. Yeah, and then switch it back over to the way I normally render eyes. There we go. Okay, let me just grab the upper eyelid here. Oh. There we go. Copy. Paste. Hide this. Okay, so normally you would just do it like the top lid. Normally I just do it like the top lid. Recently people have been really into like doing like the bottom lashes too. So we'll click like render those in. Also, it wouldn't be as arched as this is. Some styles do have the closed eyes, the closed eyes really arched like this, but we're gonna adjust it here in a second. Oh my gracious. Much too big. Here we go. Just to make this look a little bit better. No. I need the hard edge. No, that's blending. I meant to grab the eraser tool. Here we go. And, no, that's not it. Here we go. Ah! Now we're just gonna erase this here. So, alright, so now we're gonna add some small lines for the eyelids. This, and then we're actually going to grab our liquify tool again. If I could get the brush size up. Okay. And then push this down. Oh, no, that doesn't look right. Here. Pull this up. 1 second, it's being a little weird. See, it would be more like a shape like this. You see? And we can fix it a little bit real quick. So that it looks less chonky. Less janky. There we go. See? It'd just be like this, and then I'd, instead of like having this eyelash here poking up, I'd have it folded down a little bit. Right here. Oh my gracious, if it would just work! Clip Studio Paint's just being mean to me today, guys. There. That's the closest we're gonna get to it. And then, like I showed you guys earlier, I would just clip the layer, grab whatever color you want to as like the highlight color, and then you'll just airbrush the middle, airbrush right here, and then you'd render. I like rendering in with like little strokes like this. You don't have to though. I just like doing that. Feel like it looks good, and you lower the opacity a little bit. And then some people add like little eye whites. I feel like that's too harsh, but you can still do it anyway if you want to, like little glossy little eye dots, you know? You can do that. I'm not a big fan of how it looks. I just don't like the way it looks. But if you want to do it, you can. See? But yeah, that's how I would render an eye closed. Alright. Well, that's in the end of stream for today. Thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I'll get the next week's stream schedule out as soon as I can. As soon as I know when when I have free time to stream, I will let you know. Hopefully, I will get it posted by the end of today. If not, probably by the end of tomorrow. And thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.